So,
Yeah, very much so.
speaking of memorable, like since we're live now. Speaking of memorable, like commenters. No, like Jasmine. Is it Jasmine B. Ebony? Was that her name?
Yes,
Yeah,
Jasmine
she
B.
was funny.
Ebony.
Yeah, no, she was funny. Tracy makes me laugh. Tracy, Ebony. Gosh, it's really hard to remember all the people because we've had a lot of people, on for a season, and like I appreciate everybody that fucks with what we're doing here. Really, it's just speaking up. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Somebody's phone is going crazy.
Oh, that's mine. Yeah, I got a notification that we're live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see here. Yep. So hey, y'all know what it is. Everybody listening on podcast, we are sharing the lives.
Shut up.
Oh my goodness. Is that why you couldn't hear us before? Because you had it on silence?
No, no. For some reason,
Oh,
the settings I had to switch over to this. So
all
with the
good, man.
earpiece. Yeah.
All to the good. So where is these groups at? Here we go. Hey, hey, hey.
What's up, Kanisha, Octavia, Michaela, Courtney? Apparently, Michaela thinks you're a redhead, Corey.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A little bit of brown, a little bit of red. Yeah. Not too far off.
Yeah, see there, mine is auburn with a touch of gray. Rick Gordon, what's good? Adonis,
Oh,
I
Cynthia,
Rick.
actually can't see the
Solomon.
comments.
You can't see. Oh,
Yeah, you probably have to put the tab there.
um, it's probably and you're really far away from your phone anyway, so it might be hard to like read them.
Okay.
But you
Usually
should
there's like
have
a little
them.
drop down menu.
Yeah, yeah. Let me check the settings.
Yeah.
Give
I
me a
don't.
second.
Yeah.
It's usually
Yeah,
something in the settings.
I don't
Guess.
know if Roy and Niambi are up in here, but shout out to Roy and Niambi.
No, nope. I have it turned on. You guys should be able to see the comments.
Latria, Miss Bree. I don't know if Bree's here.
You guys got Apple phones?
Hell no.
Yeah, I do. I have
No.
an
Yeah. I
iPhone.
got. I got. I have an Android, so sometimes it's sketchy. I mean, it's a Kyocera construction phone, so it's not that.
Oh, okay. I mean, ooh, it's built to be tough.
Yeah.
Where? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just out of like normally I would have had all this sharing stuff done by now. But man, enough about me, man. Uh, y'all about to have a whole ass link up in New York, right?
Hell yeah. Come on in.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's on the docket for the New York City tour?
Probably just go down to the village or something.
Yeah. I
Go
really
down to
wouldn't know. It's
Christian.
my first time in New York, really.
Okay, all right, New York, y'all do them right, treat them right out there.
Yeah, we'll try to get him a few drinks over there.
Yep. No, I told them about when I went out there and hung out with Trell, and it was great. It was a good time. Met some really interesting people.
Yeah, my man
Um,
Roy in the building.
what is this? Oh, oh wow! I can't believe I put that in there. Okay.
But
No, nothing. I put something down to post. What's up, Solomon? Roy? What's going on, bros? Always good to see brothers watching live. Yeah, I drink. I don't smoke. I'm not a big smoker. I'll do
uh,
edibles.
edibles, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucks with edibles. Never been really a big smoker, so
Although
that's why I do
Roy gets mad at me about the edibles. He's like, man, I smoke my weed.
that. I mean, I'll say it like this. I think less people would smoke if weed was always legal. And it's like if the only form, I mean, the default form for people getting it because it's illegal is leaf. Like you got to smoke it. Like gummies and all that shit ain't the default. The weed man ain't rolling with gummies and candy bars and all that other shit that like people love to get for edibles. Like so, you just it's kind of like growing up on once in a while I will drink a Keystone Light. Oh, did I lose somebody? Okay. Once in a while I'll drink a Keystone Light because it's like that was some shit like that's all we had in college. Keystone Light. We couldn't afford Coors. Coors was too expensive. So
it's PBR where I was from.
There you go. Ooh, Paps. Ugh.
Yeah.
And people like that shit's trendy now. People love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a healthy group up in here today. So
we over here where it's legal.
Yeah. There you go. So we'll start this thing right on off then. What up, Marcus, Michaela? Oh no, not Natty Light. So yeah, everybody, welcome to yet another episode of the Men Like Us podcast. This is a podcast that is aimed at men who are attracted to trans women. We are all the men on this show are men who are attracted to trans women. We date trans women. Some men on my show have been married to trans women. So, experience levels of all kinds. But, the one thing that's common with all of us is that we are open about our attraction. We live in our truth. We are not about living a DL lifestyle. We are not about hiding our true selves from anybody. We accept ourselves. And, we're here to try and encourage other guys to do the same. So, Ben, if you're listening and you're not quite there yet, we support you, and we support your growth, and we are here to hope and pray that you get to a point where where you can be open with yourself, with your friends and family, with your surroundings, because trans women aren't something that are to be hidden, So that's why we do the show. We do it for the fellas. Hey, Philippines, what up? So yeah. Anywho, so today, this is kind of tying to my last video because I did a video, not my last one, but the one before that. I did a video. I was pretty triggered. I was very upset, and really, I felt like talking about the bare minimums today, like for trans attracted, trans amorous men. Like, men, if you like trans women, if you are attracted to trans women, if you date trans women, you have sex with trans women, whatever the fuck, you do anything, if you put yourself in proximity to them and relationship wise, like really, there's some bare minimum shit that we're gonna need you to do. Like, this shit is a package deal. You don't get to just do this and then not have any responsibility. And really, one of the things that I would say is a bare minimum, if you are going to call yourself trans attracted, if you're going to call yourself trans amorous, is to be anti-transphobia where in any space that you occupy. So giving up your privilege as a cis het male in a lot of spaces in term is required. If you're in a space and people are saying, well, oh, those trans people, no, that's a man. Those are men, and they're this and they're that, and they're pedophiles and whatever the fuck hurtful bullshit that people want to say about trans folks, like trans people in the trans community. It's on you, trans attracted, trans amorous man. It's on you to speak the fuck up. I need you to say something. Don't sit there in silence. Don't play it safe and you have to speak the fuck up. If this is what the fuck you're going to do, you're going to be with these girls, you're going to have to stand up for these girls in every space you occupy. Cannot allow the bullshit to just go and you sit there silent. So now this also extends to, see, there she is, Jasmine B. Ebony. We was talking about you earlier. Now you're going to have to rewind because you missed it. But yeah. But this all came into play for me earlier this week when I found myself in a space full of, cisgender heterosexual people and a few members of the LGBT community or the LGB community. And, they were saying that, if, or the men in this space, and they were black men, but they were saying, well, if I see a trans woman and a cis woman getting into a fight, that it's my job not only to break up the fight, but it's my job to beat up that trans woman and beat the brakes off of her. And obviously that was some shit that disturbed the fuck out of my soul. And I spoke the fuck up. And they're like, well, you really think it's cool for a trans woman to be beaten up on a what they call a natural born woman, but cis woman? And I'm like, it depends on the person.
Wait a minute, this was a Bush queen that said that?
No, these are just dumbass, cisgender heterosexual black men. Okay. But, this little lesbian girl that called herself the representative for the whole fucking LGBT community sitting there. Well, but they're not really women. So, as a representative for the community, I would have to say you should protect the cis woman and this, and this. And I'm like, dude, break up the fight.
Both. Break them
exactly.
Up, yeah.
Just break up the fight. But what happens is men, a lot of cisgender heterosexual men have hatred in their hearts for women in the trans community, and they're just looking for a reason to enact their hate, to enact violence on this community. They're just looking for a reason. And that gave them the end. That gave them the excuse to enact physical harm on a trans person. And, for me, I'm just like, dude, if I catch any of you motherfuckers fighting a trans woman, I'm going to beat your ass myself. You're going to catch my hands, motherfucker. Like, you think it's cool? You think you're protecting cis women and that's what you need to do? Well, then do that shit. Because if I'm there, I'm fucking you up. You don't got to worry about that trans woman. You got to worry about me. 6'3", 280 pounds, a man coming at your ass. Like, so don't play these games, because I also made it clear I'm not the only one. There's dudes out there that you don't even know. You think you're right and justified in beating up on a trans woman, and meanwhile one of us could be right there looking to sneak your ass. And I'm sorry, that's a hood term. Sneaking is pretty much cold cocking a dude coming out of nowhere and just lighting them up. So, I was super triggered by the whole thing, but, I would hope and pray that any man who calls himself trans attracted, trans amorous, would do the same shit. Would let everybody in the room, in the space, know that shit ain't cool. I don't co-sign on that shit. I don't agree with you. And let people know that they're wrong. Trans women are women. They deserve the same protections that you assign to women, period. So man does not beat up on woman. Two girls are fighting. Two girls are fighting. You break that shit up and just let it be. You don't need to be beating nobody up. You don't need to be fighting nobody. You don't need to feel like some big, strong man, like you're doing the right thing. And a lot of that bullshit was simping. These motherfuckers was simping, trying to prove them. These motherfuckers was simping, saying that shit. And that's what happens a lot of times in these big spaces. Men play games. They act out a role in order to satisfy the cis women in the space. Because cis women is sitting there saying, oh, no, they're not women like me, and I need to be protected first. You better serve me. And those guys who want those women are saying, yeah, no, that's right. Fuck them trans. We're going to beat them trans women up because that's a man. I'm protecting women. I'm not doing, I'm standing up for the real women. And they're doing that shit to get in with women. It's an act. It's all an act.
It's made punk.
Like a lot of times, a lot of times it's like when women come into the mix, a lot of times men aren't honest. They're not fucking honest. They don't tell the truth. They fulfill a role in order to curry favor with that woman. Whatever woman, period. Women, period. Motherfuckers will simp and lie and fake and all that bullshit. So, anywho, I'm just saying, we're talking about bare minimums today. Men, if you're going to call yourself trans attracted, trans amorous, I'm gonna need you to step the fuck up. Step the fuck up or step off.
Well,
And I
just
think a lot of people would agree with me on that one. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, not just to go back to the part where you were talking about like breaking up the fight. Like the right thing to do is to break up the fight because you gotta understand like trans women have estrogen just like the cis women. Like most trans women take HRT, which is a hormone, which definitely supplies the trans woman with a certain amount of estrogen. Some take testosterone blockers, so this way they're not getting that testosterone going. So it's like, it's estrogen versus estrogen. Either way, if they fight, it's going to be a fair fight if you let that go.
Mhm.
But no one wants to see anybody get hurt. So it's like, break up the fucking fight. Let's not let these two, beat the fuck out of each other.
Yeah, and it's also the damaging stereotype that a lot of people have about trans women, which is, that pretty much when people talk about trans women and their bodies, they are thinking like, yo, this is a bodybuilder in a dress. Like they think they're looking at like all trans women as if they're all fucking, and I'm gonna date myself by using this reference, like they're all LT, one of the most savage linebackers of all time. Like it ain't, that is not what it is. There are lots of trans women that are smaller than a lot of cis women. And cis women isn't all, they're not always small either. I mean, I'm a man who, again, I am 6'3". I have dated quite a few cis women as tall as me and taller than me. Like it is a real fucking thing. So it's just some bullshit, harmful stereotypes that people want to ascribe to trans women. But guys, you got to step the fuck up. Step up, speak out. Do not let that bullshit slide. When people talk about trans women or men, you need to correct them every single fucking time. And if they're uncomfortable by you correcting them, good. That's what you're there for. So not let that shit live. Just in the same way that me being a black man, I'm not there to let anybody say any racist shit. I'm not here to let you be racist in my presence. And my white friends, I would expect you to be anti-racism in a way where you don't let your friends and family feel comfortable in their racism, in their bigotry. So it's all about you call yourself a trans attracted man, a trans amorous man. That's some basic shit of being an ally. Standing the fuck up. So I done delivered my word on that part of that shit. We are really kind of starting to talk about like some of the basic bare minimum shit you need to be doing if you call yourself trans attracted and trans amorous. This is just basic. I'm not saying this is what you need to do to be the super exceptional member of the community and all that shit. This bare minimum shit, guys. The basics. So, Mike, Corey, y'all have any other any bare minimums that guys need to be doing? And ladies, y'all can chime in on that too. Fellas, y'all can chime in. Audience, drop some ideas. But we're talking about bare minimum shit that men need to be doing if they call themselves trans attracted, trans amorous.
I mean, shit. Number one, step your ass out of the motherfucking closet. Quit being a DL motherfucker. Ain't no fucking hiding who you're attracted to. If you're walking with a woman, you're walking with that woman. It don't matter if you're in your hood or if you're like 50 miles away somewhere else where people don't know you. You're walking with someone. And first of all, you shouldn't be bringing her somewhere just because you don't want to be seen by people you know. So be open with who you are. And if anybody does have something to say, shut it down. There's no reason someone should feel comfortable enough to say something that's derogatory toward the woman that you supposedly care about.
And to add to that, I would also say too, educate yourself. Educate yourself on the issues. Educate yourself on her HRT, estradiol, testosterone blockers. Just educate yourself so that way, when something does need to be said, you can say it from a place of knowledge, and you're not just going to come off like an idiot. quite honestly. So
Hmm.
educate yourself on the issues, and yeah, and never ever let her. If somebody says something, like let's say you had to walk away and get something to drink, and then somebody says something to her, and then you come back in the middle of it. Don't be quiet. Actually, step in. Fight the fight with her. Not necessarily with your fist, but like with your words. If somebody's talking shit, man, stand by your woman. Speak up with her. Help defend her. You know what I mean? If that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
No, it does. I think that's in general. A part of being a man, in my mind, is being a protector. And the last thing, if you call yourself trans attracted, trans amorous, you are with a trans woman. The last thing you should do is make her feel like she's alone. Like, do not make her feel like she's alone in a fight. You need to be confident, resolute, in your defense of her against hateful people.
Yep.
And I know this is like, fellas, I'm not like, I don't want to make, I don't want this to feel, I don't want men to take this shit like I'm talking down to you or whatever else. Bro, I am laying out the bare minimum shit just so that there's no confusion. Because as men, we got to be direct with each other. We can't beat around the bush or none of that shit. So this is all of our advice to you, man out there who calls themselves trans attracted, trans amorous, or men who are looking to be open, but just trying to figure themselves out and just starting on their journey. Like this, these are expectations that are going to be had on you if this is the life that you choose.
Might add a little bit more to that too.
Uh-huh.
So like I said, I kind of come from a place of experience with that. When I was like, I was with this girl, we were dating, and I went away to get something. We had at the fair. I went away to get something to drink, and then I came back, and she was like yelling at this person. And I immediately like jumped to, and this dude was being an asshole. He had said something derogatory to her after I walked away, but when I came back, I started yelling and got up in the dude's face. Like it almost went down. I almost got into a fist fight. We both almost got into a fight because the man and his wife were all up on it, and then of course it's me and her. We both almost it almost got physical. I didn't want it to get to that point, but it almost did because they were just being just brutal with their insults,
Mm.
And I'm not saying physical violence is not the way if you can avoid it, but at the same time you got to defend yourself. But also to further add to that too is maybe this is an old school way of thinking, but I mean if y'all jumping into it together, y'all need to be together. You know what I mean? If punches get thrown, I mean you got to be there beside your woman. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that yeah.
And now, men, brothers, this doesn't count for just girls that you know. If you call yourself an ally to the community, you need to be able to protect. You need to protect trans women. Period. So if you're walking down the street, and you see people hassling a trans woman, dude, stick up for her, help her out. Like these women are under siege nonstop, and like this ain't no cap. Like it's a whole lot of bullshit happening out there, and all you got to do is just be a good human being and just stand up, speak up, because a lot of folks think that everybody's on their side when they attack trans women. And offering a dissenting voice, a dissenting opinion, can really make a difference. You know, um, so I would spread all the stuff that we were talking about out to every all trans women, not just the ones you're. And see, that's another trick that a lot of trans attracted guys fall into. You only want to protect the women that you're attracted to. This extends beyond the women that you're attracted. Trans women, period, should have your protection, allyship, cooperation. Not just the girls that you want, all of them. So if there's a stranger getting bothered at the bus stop or at the train station, yo, step in. I'm not saying, fight everybody, but, help her out. Like, stand with her. Like, hey, is everything all right? Like, everything good? You all right? You good? Like, a lot of folks out here, a lot of people can feel alone. And, just being an ally means you're helping women in the community, period. So,
Right.
that is something that guys get caught up on a lot of times. It's a trap that men fall into, where they just, oh dang, she's bad. Yeah, let me see what I can do, dude. Just period. So, um, and I wanted to answer one question that somebody had here. You know, Amelia, it's exactly what you're saying. Just being a decent human being. These are nothing that we've said here is like really all that like fucking mind blowing, but it's
Not
just
rocket
shit.
science.
No, it is not rocket science. That's for damn sure. It is about being a decent human being. And, you know, sometimes being a decent human being, it means, you know, being a little bold, having some courage, standing up, having integrity. You know, that shit counts, men. And, you know, that's something that just makes you a better person. So, um, oh, I'm sorry. I feel like, what's going on, Samantha? Um, She says, I feel like a lot of these dudes that feel they can put their hands on us do it because they think we are easy targets. Like they don't see us as men, but want to take advantage because they see us as weaker than them. And you know what? I think that's a huge part of it. That's a huge
Cowards
part
do
of it.
that.
Yeah, fucking cowardly. But here's the thing: they're getting props from a lot of cis women as if you just did something great and big. You just got a cheap, easy win with a lot of uh damn it, my words escape me. But either way, you know, he's getting props because this messaging coming from cis women, oh no, that's a man. Good. You need to protect us from them because we're the real women. Like he thinks he's doing right, and it's like ridiculous. I don't know. I hate it. I'm upset about the mindset that people have about this shit, and it's sad that people feel like you know they can prey on a community because you know they'll get a pat on the back for it.
You see, here's the thing though. Like, we got some cis women out there that are kind of like allies to the community a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, they may have like a trans person in their life or a gay person in their life or something like that that they're close to, and they'll stand up for people, you know, just like we would or whatever. But then you have other cis women that, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's somebody in the family that taught them this bullshit, but they have that mentality of like, oh, they're the real woman and then the trans woman is not. You know, and those are the ones that end up causing more problems and escalating shit with the homophobes and the transphobes that are out there trying to do nothing but cause trouble.
For sure. You know, thank you everyone for watching so far. I know we have not been deep in the comments today. That is intentional, but you know, look, wow. Shout out to Michaela, Kanisha, Courtney, Cynthia, Adonis, Solomon, Rick, Morgan, Roy, Michaela, Marcus. Is it you got a call?
Nah, somebody sent me a message. My bad.
Gotcha. All right.
And yes, Michaela, it's toxic
Marcus,
femininity. Yeah.
what's up?
And yes, Michaela, it's toxic femininity.
For sure. Carla, Rena. I just want to give everybody props because I appreciate y'all commenting. Jasmine, B. Ebony, we talked about you earlier. You missed it.
Ebba, ebba, ebba.
But anywho, our allies. Well, ooh, there's that. Amelia says some cis women are allies until a man they like finds one of us attractive. I've heard that story before. I've
That's
heard that
strong,
from
man.
some friends where they're just like their cis friends turned on them once the dude liked them instead of their girl. Oh, you know she trans, right? And then puts them right in the line of fire. Like you fucking kidding me? Like, oh, come on now.
Actually, that happened to Diamond Styles one time. Like, Diamond Styles was on the Marshall Play podcast, and she was telling a story about how like she was in a room and one guy kind of liked her, and then the girl that she thought was her friend came
Mhm.
over and was like, "Yeah, you know she's trans, right?"
and it's happened way too much. If guys like us have heard that story quite a few times, you know it's happening way more, which is crazy. But
Yeah,
what's going on, Quan? Jasmine, it was good. So
Just
we weren't
just
talking no
yeah.
shit in it.
just at
Those,
your
those
comments.
personality types I like to call straw man personality types. I mean, you're all about your beliefs and you stand by somebody, but until it's a little bit inconvenient for you, then you just frag out. You know, that's just weak.
Yeah.
You know, loss of individuality, weak mentality, whatever you want to call it.
I
I have
mean,
no
that's what I
respect
call
for
like
that.
it's fake allyship.
Yeah.
It's fake allyship up
Posers.
and down. So, and really, again, to the men out there, if you are not fully open about your attraction, you're not fully living in your truth, whatever. I would say, if you feel like you're on the fence and you're stuck on the fence and you're really still trying to hide and be open at the same time, get off the fence.
Mhm.
Like jump full. Like you got to be on one side of the fence or the other. Sitting on the fence is just you're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself because you haven't made a decision. You don't know who and what you are, what you're doing. And I'm only speaking from experience because I spent a portion, not a portion, but I spent a short time on the fence. And you know, I want to shout out Hope Giselle because she somebody in contact with her I talked to, and she was kind of like a clairvoyant person, and she was just like, "Yo, the spirits are telling me you got to get off the fence, homie." And at that time, it was like I was at a space where I was open with everyone and everybody except my mom, and I didn't make that last leap. And I was still kind of straddling a fence where I wouldn't post stuff in a certain place where she might see it, but I'll post it where everybody else will see it. And it was just a whole thing, but it was just like I had a decision to make. And I made the decision. I did a whole stream about the aftermath on that, processing it kind of like on a year or two anniversary. It's the November anniversary at this point. But I'm just saying, like, I've been there. That's why I'm speaking on this shit, guys. Like, fellas, if you're listening to this shit, like wherever you're at, I've probably been there before. Mike might have been there before. Corey might have been there before. Somebody on my show might have had your experience, and I know for damn sure one of the guys, my men's only group, has had your experience. Like you are not the only one. You are not the only one that's where you are right now. So I want the men watching this, guys who are just kind of listening to get thoughts and opinions, kind of figure yourself out. Like you're not alone. And for whatever reason, maybe it's just male ego. I don't know. For whatever reason, men, we always think we're the only ones. We think we're alone, and when clear logic would make you understand that you can't be the only one. Statistically, you can't be the only one that likes trans women. You can't be the only one. You can't be the only one that thinks like you do. But a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of us thought that. Like,
yeah. To add to that, yeah, I was one of those that thought that way. Like, I mean, when I first started up my little YouTube channel, talking about it, like the only other person though, but in defense of that, well, not really in defense of that. I guess part of that is that thinking could come from it's just there's not a whole lot of guys are out about it. Like the only other person that I knew about it up until recently was this guy named No Joke Howard on YouTube. He was the only person that I'd seen. And I really, I mean, it was cool that I seen somebody like me, but I mean, the way he would do a lot of things, I disagree with a lot of his mannerisms and all this stuff. But that's another story, another day. But like,
mhm.
yeah. But then, actually it was one of the guys in the group that actually introduced me to the group and whatnot. And I was like, oh wow, there's a lot. There's actually quite a few. So,
Yeah.
I think part of it is just that as we grow and as we become, more and more accepted, we accept ourselves, and other men help them to accept themselves. I think, it'll grow and it'll become less and less of a phenomena where we think, oh, I'm the only one. I'm a weirdo or something, you know?
Yeah, it's about removing stigma. Like a lot of us walk around with the stigma that the dominant society places on us. You know, there's something wrong with me because I like something that isn't a cis woman. I like a woman that isn't cis. So now we're thinking, it's that stigma, and you're worried about the shame and the way people will look at you and think about you. All these things, you know, guys think about, and you know, us talking on this platform, us sharing our experiences, really removes that. Well, not completely, but it helps to remove that for a lot of guys. It's like a mental block that once you find somebody else that's like you, like, oh damn, okay, well, it's not so bad, because I know it's weird. It sounds crazy. I know. Doesn't make sense, but uh, that's how some people thought. At least that's how I was. So,
No, it's
So
not
uh,
true.
sometimes those myths and stereotypes, sometimes you just gotta just the hell with it, you
yes.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but sorry, it's just Michaela's playing in the comments again.
Oh, yeah. She's, what is that? TS tops matter.
Yeah, TS Top say lies, and if he played with the dick, then he wasn't tricked.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
What'd she say? I
Guys.
can't see the comments. What'd she say? I heard some of what y'all said.
If he played with the dick, he wasn't tricked.
Oh,
Yeah. Michaela has a theory that if men can't say that they were tricked if the woman was topping them. So that's why she keeps saying TS tops matter. And,
Even though, if I'm correct, she's not a top.
yeah, that's true. But Kim C, liking trans doesn't make you less of a man. And that's true. That's true. And that's something that, like men, I don't know, a lot. I could say, I can just speak for myself and a few of the guys that I've, had to help work through certain things. But a lot of times, I was worried about, well, am I less straight? Am I less masculine? Like, I ain't gay. I don't want to be gay. I was really like deathly afraid of being considered gay and therefore being considered less than. And that was a huge piece of my issue. And it's like, well, society's gonna see me as not straight, and straight is like the top of the hierarchy in my
Which,
mind at the time. That's what I was thinking.
which, as a society,
Uh-huh.
can we get that frame of thinking the fuck out of here? Because I've known gay men that are some of the dopest fucking men on the planet. Like,
Hmm.
cool as fuck, will stand up for you, if need be, and everything like that. So it's like, to think of a gay man as being less than, it's like, yo, like, you are literally dehumanizing that man, just like some other communities have been dehumanized in the past. So it's like perpetuating, discrimination.
I second
Yeah.
that. That's well said, Mike.
And it's also old stereotypes they die hard, or they
Well,
don't die in this country.
well, they just need to
Um
die, whether it's hard or soft, like
well, in this country they don't die very easily. Because this all just goes back to being gay equaling being feminine and being effeminate, and that whole term sissy and the F word and all that stuff that was freely used just 20 years ago out in the open. People don't really say that stuff now. Like, I don't really hear when men have conversations, they don't use them words. Maybe on Call of Duty, Xbox, maybe that's like one of the last bastions of hate. Period.
I mean, the F word definitely still is thrown around
Yeah. But it's I'm just saying, like, this whole being less of a man, being less, because I mean, for me it was like being less of a man equal being less straight, equal like being less, I don't know, it was a whole thing in terms of how and for me, I was overly concerned about how people saw me. Overly concerned about how my family would view me, how my friends from church would view me, my family from church would view me. I
Yeah,
was I
yeah.
was
Or the church,
slightly concerned about how some of my fraternity brothers and friends from college would see me.
but the church
Like,
would definitely do it. Yeah,
yeah, but it's just
What
these
was
are the
that?
people. He said church would definitely do it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, people. These are the people I grew up around. This is my community. Friends from high school, friends from college, coworkers, whoever. And I'm not from New York. Wisconsin doesn't have the diversity that New York boasts. So, transness is not common in Wisconsin. We barely get gay folks being open. So it's just a whole thing, man. And really, that shit is real because look at what happened with look at what happened with Malik.
Yeah.
He came out, he got kicked out. He got kicked out of his frat. He got taken down off of boards. He lost shit. And I know people like to say, well, the fear is in your head and it won't affect you. It just might, but I think, guys, you have to be willing to risk that shit, dude. Like, I promise you, it is better on the other side being free. It is better on the other side being yourself. So it is just better that way. Sorry, I think that's all really. So my message for the men out there still struggling, it is just better to live in your truth. It really
Yeah,
is. Um,
definitely.
not having to hide a certain part of yourself when you're having conversation, dude, great. I'm sorry, I spent so much of my life hiding that shit, keeping it out of conversation, having nobody to talk to about how I felt, who I liked, all that shit. So I don't know, Phyllis, y'all have any other thoughts in that regards? Thoughts on,
Well, I mean, Rick Gordon, shout out to Omega Sci-Fi for this interview.
shout out to the Q Dogs.
What do they do? They bark or whatever.
They do the atomic dog dance. I was showing my friend from Africa that because I went to a black wedding, and at black weddings, all the little Greeks, they do their dances, they play their songs, they do their shit, and atomic dog comes on, and then you see the Qs doing their
Yeah,
kicking high and clapping below their legs and shit, and doing their whole little turnaround dance, and yeah, so it's a whole thing. But yeah, I think that's really all I got for today, y'all. But Mike, Corey, I really did want to open it up to you guys a little bit more in terms of I don't know. I guess I'm just really stuck on this whole how it is to be a transgender guy who's conflicted or who is maybe a little bit scared to stand up and speak out or who's just hasn't reached that point of being fully open.
Well, Jazzy B. Ebony over here playing in the comments. She got to stop being DL if she wants to get accepted at the family cookout.
That's what she said?
I mean, she's saying, can we talk about the men telling their fans because she feels she doesn't get a fair shot if everybody knows before she came to the cookout. I'm just saying, you got to stop being DL.
Oh, hey, shout out to Sigma Gamma Rho. What? All right, Bree. No, I'm gonna say it like this: as somebody that's also in a demographic that is not the creme de la creme for a lot of families and parents on this planet. I mean, either they're gonna like you or they ain't gonna like you. At the end of the day, it is what it is. They not gonna fuck with you, or they're gonna fuck with you. It's really the ball is in their court. So, if my girl told them I was black before I showed up, cool. I get it's different for trans because, they can kind of, not know. And I understand that, but, it can go either way. Everybody's different. Every situation is different. Because I think last week we were talking about our friend who pretty much did what you're suggesting, Jasmine, and it blew up in his face. And he ended up getting kicked out of his house. and had to move in with other family members because his parents weren't having that. They felt betrayed and lied to and upset. They're upset about it. So I don't know. For me, yeah, it's a whole ass. I just like to set the table.
I'd like to add a little something to that too.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Another way to look at it too is, I mean, if you're a guy who is conflicted on his attractions and whatnot, and is afraid to step out, think about it like this. There's not really a price tag on freedom, and right now, if you're conflicted and you're not out and you're not yourself, your true self, you're not your freest self either. You're kind of in a cage that you kind of built yourself essentially. So when you step out in the open and be like, hey, I not only am I attracted to sisters and women, I'm also attracted to trans women too. Here I am. I don't know. You feel freer. Yeah, there might be some consequences of that. Nothing, not feeling fault of your own. It's all society and the way they view it and how it needs to change. But at least you're free. It's not really a price tag for freedom, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
Agreed. I'm with that, man. Cosign.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, we are going to wrap it up for tonight. But I thank everyone for joining us. And men listening to this, I hope you learned a lot, and I hope whatever we said is encouraging you to think about things or see things in a different way, or giving you confidence to move ahead in your journey. So just hope we help somebody out there some kind of way, kind of understand themselves just a little bit more. And I'm gonna do some housekeeping things because we are here to help, but I'm also here to reach more people. So everybody watching this, if you could, please, if you're watching this on Facebook, please share this. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the videos. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have gotten a lot of fucking hate lately from people who think trans women are men, and they have been downvoting my videos, leaving ugly comments on my videos. So if you could do me a favor, go to YouTube, please tip the scales in the opposite direction by liking the videos and just support, because the haters have found my channel finally, I guess, but they're here. And now, some of my videos aren't being shared. YouTube is not distributing some of my videos anymore because they have more downvotes than likes. So, and all of this came after I did a video pretty much coming after my own people and doing a message towards black people that they need to get their shit together and black men need to do better. Ever since that video, it's been some hateful comments coming in, people telling me I'm a part of the problem and that, I need to let people have their opinions and all that other bullshit. I don't give room for bullshit opinions. Your opinion's not valid here. If you think trans women are men, fuck you. So
you happen to have the addresses to those people,
right?
Just curious, send us there.
You can pull a little Jay and Silent Bob and find everybody on the internet and kick their ass. But yes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please get on there, like the videos. Need some help. Keeping myself distributed. And if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, thoughts, whatever, the email address for the show is menlikeuspodcast@gmail.com. Contrary to some people's popular and unpopular opinions, I do give people the time of day. So I will give you space if you feel like, you have something you need to say. So with that, we are done, and we will see all of y'all back here next Friday for some more Trans Amorous Men Talk, Trans Attracted Men Talk. And, peace.